welcome. You're about to listen to part 1 of The Sea and Little Fishes, a short Discworld story by Terry Pratchett. It's a tale told with soft wit and warmth, and it's meant to ease you into a restful sleep. Before we begin, let's take a few moments to settle in. If you're listening with headphones on, that's perfect. It gently narrows the world down to just this moment, letting everything outside of it fade into the background. Just make yourself comfortable and let my voice guide you into a peaceful state. In a moment, we'll take a few slow breaths together. As you breathe in, imagine drawing in calm and comfort. As you hold, feel that peace settling through you. And as you breathe out, let go of any tension from the day. Ready? Breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold it gently. 2, 3, 4, 5. And let it out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Feel the weight of your body sinking into the bed, the pillows and blankets gently cradling you. Everything is okay. There's nowhere else you need to be. With each easy breath, the day's events fade into the background. Your shoulders loosen. Your legs and arms grow pleasantly heavy. Just allow yourself to be here, soft and at ease. Right now, there is nothing you need to do. No need to follow every word or remember anything. The story will gently unfold in the background. And if your mind wanders or you miss a detail, that's perfectly fine. You're meant to drift. In fact, you'll probably fall asleep before this part ends, and that's exactly the point. This is the first of 2 parts, so there's no rush at all. You can return to this same part as many nights as you like. The story is patient. It will still be here when you wake. Notice how easy it's becoming to lie here. Your eyelids may be growing heavy. Every blink slower than the last, until keeping your eyes closed feels so much better. Your muscles are loosening from your face and neck, down through your shoulders and arms, all the way to your legs and feet, everything sinking deeper into the bed. With each gentle breath out, any remaining tension flows away. This story features witches, not the cackling figures from fairy tales, but practical women who understand people and consequences. Witches on the Discworld are capable of magic, but they prefer common sense over flashy spells. Their real art lies in what they call hedology, understanding exactly how people think. For example, a witch might send a sick man on daily walks to a certain river to appease the water spirits. She knows the spirits won't help, and that simply telling him to exercise would be ignored, but framing it as magical wisdom, that he'll follow, and the exercise will do him good. As the story begins, another voice will take over to read the tale, but I'll still be here in the background, quietly offering gentle encouragement. You might notice soft whispers from time to time, letting your thoughts slow and soften. Little reminders to help you relax even deeper, allowing sleep to find you naturally. You don't have to pay attention to them. They're simply there, drifting peacefully, easily, doing what they do best, encouraging rest and allowing sleep to arrive in its own time. Letting go, feeling safe. From here on, there's nothing you need to do. Allowing sleep to find you naturally. You can listen when you're listening, drift when you're drifting. Every moment softer than the last. Sleep is always welcome here. Breathing softer, sinking deeper. Now, let's begin the story. Enjoy.
Trouble began, and not for the first time, with an apple. There was a bag of them on Granny Weatherwax's bleached and spotless table. Red and round, shiny and fruity. If they'd known the future, they should have ticked like bombs. "Keep the lot. Old Upcroft said I could have as many as I wanted," said Nanny Ogg. She gave her sister witch a sidelong glance. "Tasty, a bit wrinkled, but a damn good keeper." "He named an apple after you," said Granny. Each word was an acid drop on the air. "'Cause of my rosy cheeks," said Nanny Ogg, "and I cured his leg for him after he fell off that ladder last year. And I made him up some jollop for his bald head. It didn't work, though," said Granny. "That wig he wears, that's a terrible thing to see in a man still alive. But he was pleased I took an interest." Granny Weatherwax didn't take her eyes off the bag. Fruit and vegetables grew famously in the mountains' hot summers and cold winters. Percy Hopcroft was the premier grower, and definitely a keen man when it came to sexual antics among the horticulture with a camel hair brush. "He sells his apple trees all over the place," Nanny Ogg went on. "Funny, eh, to think that pretty soon thousands of people will be having a bite of Nanny Ogg." "Thousands more," said Granny tartly. Nanny's Wild Youth was an open book, although only available in plain covers. "Thank you, Esme." Nanny Ogg looked wistful for a moment, and then opened her mouth in mock concern. "Oh, you ain't jealous, are you, Esme? You ain't begrudging me my little moment in the sun?" "Me? Jealous? Why should I be jealous? It's only an apple. It's not as if it's anything important." "That's what I thought. It's just a little frippery to humour an old lady," said Nanny. "So, how are things with you, then? Fine? Bought your winter wood in, have you?" "Mostly." "Good," said Nanny. "Good." They sat in silence. On the window pane, a butterfly, awoken by the unseasonable warmth, beat a little tattoo in an effort to reach the September sun. "Your potatoes? Got them dug, then?" said Nanny. "Yes." "We got a good crop of ours this year." "Good." "Salted your beans, have you?" "Yes." "I expect you're looking forward to the trials next week?" "Yes." "I expect you've been practicing?" "No." It seemed to Nanny that, despite the sunlight, the shadows were deepening in the corners of the room. The very air itself was growing dark. A witch's cottage gets sensitive to the moods of its occupant. But she plunged on. Fools rush in, but they are laggards compared to little old ladies with nothing left to fear. "You coming over to dinner on Sunday?" "What are you having?" "Pork." "With apple sauce?" "Yes." "No," said Granny. There was a creaking behind Nanny. The door had swung open. Someone who wasn't a witch would have rationalized this, would have said that, of course, it was only the wind. And Nanny Ogg was quite prepared to go along with this, but would have added, why was it only the wind, and how come the wind had managed to lift the latch? "Oh, well, can't sit here chatting all day," she said, standing up quickly. "Always busy at this time of year, ain't it?" "Yes." "So, I'll be off then. Goodbye." The wind blew the door shut again as Nanny plodded off down the path. It occurred to her that, just possibly, she might have gone a bit too far. But only a bit. The trouble with being a witch, at least the trouble with being a witch as far as some people were concerned, was that you got stuck out here in the country. But that was fine by Nanny. Everything she wanted was out here. Everything she'd ever wanted was here, although in her youth she'd run out of men a few times. Foreign parts were all right to visit, but they weren't really serious. They had interesting new drinks and the grub was fun, but foreign parts was where you went to do what might need to be done, and then you came back here, a place that was real. Nanny Ogg was happy in small places. Of course, she reflected as she crossed the lawn, she didn't have this view out of her window. Nanny lived down in the town, but Granny could look out across the forest and over the plains and all the way to the great round horizon of the Discworld. A view like that, Nanny reasoned, could probably suck your mind right out of your head.
No need to hold on.
They'd told her the world was round and flat, which was common sense, and went through space on the back of 4 elephants standing on the shell of a turtle, which didn't have to make sense. It was all happening out there somewhere, and it could continue to do so with Nanny's blessing and uninterest, so long as she could live in a personal world about 10 miles across, which she carried around with her.
Story flows around you.
But Esme Weatherwax needed more than this little kingdom could contain. She was the other kind of witch.
Peaceful and easy.
And Nanny saw it as her job to stop Granny Weatherwax getting
No
bored.
need to hold on.
The business with the apples was petty enough, a spiteful little triumph when you got down to it. But Esme needed something to make every day worthwhile, and if it had to be anger and jealousy, then so be it.
Drifting is welcome.
Granny would now scheme for some little victory, some tiny humiliation that only the 2 of them would ever know about, and that'd be that.
Sleep finds you gently.
Nanny was confident that she could deal with her friend in a bad mood, but not when she was bored. A witch who is bored might do anything.
Just listen, nothing more.
People said things like we had to make our own amusements in those days, as if this signaled some kind of moral worth, and perhaps it did.
Thinking deeper
But the last thing you wanted a witch to do was get bored and start making her own amusements. Because witches sometimes had famously erratic ideas about what was amusing,
mind growing.
and Esme was undoubtedly the most powerful witch the mountains had seen for generations.
Story flows around
Still,
you.
the trials were coming up, and they always set Esme Weatherwax all right for a few weeks. She rose to competition like trout to a fly.
Drifting is welcome.
Nanny Ogg always looked forward to the witch trials. You got a good day out, and of course there was a big bonfire. Whoever heard of a witch trial without a good bonfire afterwards? And afterwards, you could roast potatoes in the ashes.
Letting go fully.
The afternoon melted into the evening, and the shadows in corners and under stools and tables crept out and ran together.
You don't have to follow.
Granny rocked gently in her chair as the darkness wrapped itself around her. She had a look of deep concentration.
Just rest completely.
The logs in the fireplace collapsed into the embers, which winked out one by one. The night
Sleep is
thickened.
loud here.
The old clock
Deeper
ticked
still.
on the mantelpiece, and for some length of time there was no other sound. There came a faint rustling. The paper bag on the table moved and then began to crinkle like a deflating balloon. Slowly, the still air filled with a heavy smell of decay.
Safe to sleep now.
After a while, the first maggot crawled out. Annie Ogg was back home and just pouring a pint of beer when there was a knock.
Still rest.
She put down the jug with a sigh and went and opened the door. "Oh, hello, ladies. What are you doing in these parts, and on such a chilly evening, too?"
Listening.
Nanny backed into the room ahead of 3 more witches. They wore the black cloaks and pointy hats traditionally associated with their craft, although this served to make each one look different.
Story continues.
There is nothing like a uniform for allowing one to express one's individuality. A tweak here and a tuck there are little details that scream all the louder in the apparent, well, uniformity.
Nothing needs your
Dammer
attention.
Beavis's hat, for example, had a very flat brim and a point you could clean your ear with.
Floating gently.
Nanny liked Gamma Beavis. She might be a bit too educated, so that sometimes it overflowed out of her mouth, but she did her own shoe repairs and took snuff. And in Nanny Ogg's small world view, things like this meant that someone was all right.
Sleep wraps
Old
around
Mother
you.
Dismas's clothes had that disarray of someone who, because of a detached retina in her second sight, was living in a variety of times all at once.
Still resting peacefully.
Mental confusion is bad enough in normal people, but much worse when the mind has an occult twist. You just had to hope it was only her underwear she was wearing on the outside.
Listening without effort.
It was getting worse, Nanny knew. Sometimes her knock would be heard on the door a few hours before she arrived. Her footprints would turn up several days later.
The story continues by itself.
Nanny's heart sank at the sight of the third witch, and it wasn't because Lettuce Earwig was a bad woman.
Underneath.
Quite the reverse, in fact. She was considered to be decent, well-meaning, and kind, at least to less aggressive animals and the cleaner sort of children. And she would always do you a good turn. The trouble was, though, that she would do you a good turn for your own good, even if a good turn wasn't what was good for you. You ended up mentally turned the other way, and that wasn't good. And she was married. Nanny had nothing against witches being married. It wasn't as if there were rules. She herself had had many husbands and had even been married to 3 of them. But Mr. Earwig was a retired wizard with a suspiciously large amount of gold, and Nanny suspected that Lettice did witchcraft as something to keep herself occupied, in much the same way that other women of a certain class might embroider kneelers for the church or visit the poor. And she had money. Nanny did not have money and therefore was predisposed to dislike those who did. Lettice had a black velvet cloak so fine that it looked as if a hole had been cut out of the world. Nanny did not. Nanny did not want a fine velvet cloak and did not aspire to such things, so she didn't see why other people should have them. "Evening, Gita. How are you keeping yourself?" said Gamma Beavis. Nanny took her pipe out of her mouth. "Fit as a fiddle. Come on in." "Ain't this rain dreadful?" said Mother Dismas. Nanny looked at the sky. It was frosty purple, but it was probably raining whatever Mother's mind was at. "Come along in and dry off then," she said kindly. "Me fortunate stars shine on this our meeting," said Lettice. Nanny nodded understandingly. Lettice always sounded as though she'd learned her witchcraft out of a not very imaginative book. "Yeah, right," she said. There was some polite conversation while Nanny prepared tea and scones. Then Gamma Beavis, in a tone that clearly indicated that the official part of the visit was beginning, said, "We're here as the Trials Committee, Nanny." "Oh? Yes? I expect you'll be entering." "Oh, yes. I'll do my little turn." Nanny glanced at Lettice. There was a smile on that face that she wasn't entirely happy with. "There's a lot of interest this year," Gamma went on. "More girls are taking it up lately." "To get boys, one feels," said Lettice, and sniffed. Nanny didn't comment. Using witchcraft to get boys seemed a damn good use for it as far as she was concerned. It was, in a way, one of the fundamental uses. "That's nice," she said. "Always looks good, a big turnout." "But—" "A bigger pardon," said Lettice. "I said but," said Nanny. "For someone's going to say but, right? This little chat has got a big butt coming up, I can tell." She knew this was flying in the face of protocol. There should be at least 7 more minutes of small talk before anyone got around to the point. But Lettice's presence was getting on her nerves. "It's about Esme Weatherwax," said Gamma Beavis. "Yes," said Nanny without surprise. "I suppose she's entering. Never known her stay away." Lettice sighed. "I suppose you couldn't persuade her to not to enter this year?" she said. Nanny looked shocked. "With an axe, you mean?" she said. In unison, the 3 witches sat back. "You see," Gamma began, a bit shamefaced. "Frankly, Mrs. Odd," said Lettice, "it is very hard to get other people to enter when they know that Miss Weatherwax is entering. She always wins." "Yes," said Nanny, "it's a competition. But she always wins. So?" "In other types of competition," said Lettice, "one is normally only allowed to win for 3 years in a row, and then one takes a back seat for a while." "Yeah, but this is witching," said Nanny. "The rules is different." "How so?" "There ain't none." Lettice twitched her skirt. "Perhaps it is time there were," she said. "Ah," said Nanny. "Are you just going to go up and tell Esme that? You up for this, Gamma?" Gamma Beavis didn't meet her gaze. Old Mother Dismas was gazing at last week. "I understand Miss Weatherwax is a very proud woman," said Lettice. Nanny Odd puffed at her pipe again. "You might as well say the sea is full of water," she said. The other witches were silent for the moment. "I dare say that was a valuable comment," said Lettice, "but I didn't understand it." "If there ain't no water in the sea, it ain't a sea," said Nanny Odd. "It's just a damn great hole in the ground. See where Esme is?" Nanny took another noisy pull at the pipe. She's all pride, see? She ain't just a proud person. Then perhaps she should learn to be a bit more humble. What's she got to be humble about? Said Nanny sharply. But Lettice, like a lot of people with marshmallow on the outside, had a hard core that was not easily compressed. The woman clearly has a natural talent, and really she should be grateful for... Nanny Ogg stopped listening at this point. The woman, she thought. So that was how it was going. It was the same in just about every trade. Sooner or later, someone decided it needed organizing. And the one thing you could be sure of was that the organizers weren't going to be the people who, by general acknowledgement, were at the top of their craft. They were working too hard. To be fair, it generally wasn't done by the worst neither. They were working hard too. They had to. No, it was done by the ones who had just enough time and inclination to scurry and bustle. And to be fair again, the world needed people who scurried and bustled. You just didn't have to like them very much. The lull told her that Lettice had finished. Really? Now me, said Nanny. I'm the one who's naturally talented. Us Oggs have got witchcraft in our blood. I never really had to sweat at it. Esme now, she's got a bit, true enough, but it ain't a lot. She just makes it look harder than hell. And you're going to tell her she's not to? We were rather hoping you would, said Lettice. Nanny opened her mouth to deliver one or two swear words and then stopped. Tell you what, she said, you can tell her tomorrow, and I'll come with you to hold her back. Granny Weatherwax was gathering herbs when they came up the track. Everyday herbs of sick room and kitchen are known as simples. Granny's herbs weren't simples. They were complicateds, or they were nothing. And there was none of the airy-fairy business with a pretty basket and a pair of dainty slippers. Granny used a knife, and a chair held in front of her, and a leather hat, gloves, and apron as secondary lines of defense. Even she didn't know where some of the herbs came from. Roots and seeds were traded all over the world and maybe farther. Some had flowers that turned as you passed by, some fired their thorns at passing birds, and several were staked, not so that they wouldn't fall over, but so they'd still be there next day. Nanny Ogg, who never bothered to grow any herb you couldn't smoke or stuff a chicken with, heard her mutter, "Right, you buggers." "Good morning, Miss Weatherwax," said Lettice Earwig loudly. Granny Weatherwax stiffened and then lowered the chair very carefully and turned around. "It's mistress," she said. "Whatever," said Lettice brightly. "I trust you are keeping well." "Up till now," said Granny. She nodded almost imperceptibly at the other three witches. There was a thrumming silence, which appalled Nanny Ogg. They should have been invited in for a cup of something. That was how the ritual went. It was gross bad manners to keep people standing around. Nearly, but not quite, as bad as calling an elderly unmarried witch myths. "You've come about the child's," said Granny. Lettice almost fainted. How did... "'Cause you look like a committee. It don't take much reasoning," said Granny, pulling off her gloves. "We didn't used to need a committee. The news just got around and we all turned up. Now suddenly there's folk arranging things." For the moment, Granny looked as though she was fighting some serious internal battle, and then she added in throwaway tones, "Kettle's on, you better come in." Nanny relaxed. Maybe there were some customs even Granny Weatherwax wouldn't defy after all. Even if someone was your worst enemy, you invited them in and gave them tea and biscuits. In fact, the worser your enemy, the better the crockery you got out and the higher the quality of the biscuits. You might wish black hell on them later, but while they were under your roof, you'd feed them till they choked. Her dark little eyes noted that the kitchen table gleamed and was still damp from scrubbing. After cups had been poured and pleasantries exchanged, or at least offered by Lettice and received in silence by Granny, the self-elected chairwoman wriggled in her seat and said, "There's such a lot of interest in the trails this year, Mistress Weatherwax." "Good. It does look as though witchcraft in the Ramtops is going through something of a renaissance, in fact. A renaissance, eh? There's a thing. It's such a good route to empowerment for young women, don't you think? Many people could say things in a cutting way, Nanny knew, but Granny Weatherwax could listen in a cutting way. She could make something sound stupid just by hearing it. "That's a good hat you've got there," said Granny. "Velvet, is it? Not made local, I expect?" Lettuce touched the brim and gave a little laugh. "It's from Boggies in Ankh-Bolpork," she said. "Oh, shop bought." Nanny Ogg glanced at the corner of the room where a battered wooden cone stood on a stand. Pinned to it were lengths of black calico and strips of willow wood, the foundations for Granny's spring hat. "Tailor-made," said Lettuce. "And those hat pins you've got," Granny went on, "all them crescent moons and cat shapes." "You've got a brooch that's crescent-shaped too, ain't that so, Esme?" said Nanny Ogg, deciding it was time for a warning shot. Granny occasionally had a lot to say about jewellery on witches when she was feeling in an acid mood. "This is true, geezer. I have a brooch what is shaped like a crescent. That's just the truth of the shape it happens to be. Very practical shape for holding a cloak is a crescent, but I don't mean nothing by it. Anyway, you interrupted just as I was about to remark to Mrs. Earwig how fetching her hat pins are. Very witchy." Nanny, swivelling like a spectator at a tennis match, glanced at Lettuce to see if this deadly bolt had gone home. But the woman was actually smiling. Some people just couldn't spot the obvious on the end of a 10-pound hammer. "On the subject of witchcraft," said Lettuce, with the born chairwoman's touch for the enforced segue, "I thought I might raise with you the question of your participation in the trails." "Yes?" Don't you think it is unfair to other people that you win every year?" Granny Weatherwax looked down at the floor and then up at the ceiling. "No," she said eventually. "I'm better than them." "You don't think it is a little dispiriting for the other contestants?" Once again the floor-to-ceiling search. "No," said Granny. "But they start off knowing they're not going to win." "So do I." "Oh no, you surely—" "I meant that I start off knowing they're not going to win too," said Granny witheringly. "And they ought to start off knowing I'm not going to win. No wonder they lose as they ain't getting their minds right. It does rather dash their enthusiasm." Granny looked genuinely puzzled. "What's wrong with them striving to come second?" she said. Lettuce plunged on. "What we were hoping to persuade you to do, Esme, is to accept an emeritus position. You would perhaps make a nice little speech of encouragement, present the award, and possibly even be one of the judges." "There is going to be judges," said Granny. "We've never had judges. Everyone just used to know who'd won." "That's true," said Nanny. She remembered the scenes at the end of one or two trials. When Granny Weatherwax won, everyone knew. "Oh, that's very true." "It would be a very nice gesture," Lettuce went on. "Oh, decided there will be judges," said Granny. "The committee, that is, a few of us got together only to steer things." "Oh, I see," said Granny. "Flags." "Pardon?" "Are you going to have them lines of little flags? And maybe someone selling apples on a stick, that kind of thing? Some bunting would certainly be right. Don't forget the bonfire. So long as it's nice and safe." "Oh, right. Things should be nice and safe," said Granny. Mrs. Earwig perceptibly sighed with relief. "Well, that's sorted out nicely," she said. "Is it?" said Granny. "I thought we'd agreed that—" "Had we? Really?" She picked up the poker from the hearth and prodded fiercely at the fire. "I'll give matters my consideration. I wonder if I may be frank for a moment, Mistress Weatherwax," said Lettuce. The poker paused in mid-prod. "Yes?" "Times are changing, you know. Now, I think I know why you feel it necessary to be so overbearing and unpleasant to everyone, but believe me when I tell you, as a friend, that you'd find it so much easier if you just relaxed a little bit and tried being nicer, like our sister Geetha here." Nanny Ogg's smile had fossilized into a mask. Lettuce didn't seem to notice. You seem to have all the witches in awe of you for 50 miles round, she went on. Now, I dare say you have some valuable skills, but witchcraft isn't about being an old grump and frightening people anymore. I'm telling you this as a friend. Call again whenever you're passing, said Granny. This was a signal. Nanny Ogg stood up hurriedly. I thought we could discuss, Lettuce protested. I'll walk with you all down to the main track, said Nanny, hauling the other witches out of their seats. Get up, said Granny sharply as the group reached the door. Yes, Esme? You'll come back here afterwards, I expect? Yes, Esme.
Sleep until morning.
Nanny ran to catch up with the trio on the path. Lettuce had what Nanny thought of as a deliberate walk. It had been wrong to judge her by the floppy jowls and the over-fussy hair and the silly way she waggled her hands as she talked. She was a witch, after all. Scratch any witch and, well, you'd be facing a witch you'd just scratched. She is not a nice person, Lettuce trilled, but it was the trill of some large hunting bird. You're right there, said Nanny, but it's hey time she was taken down a peg or two. Well, she bullies you most terribly, Mrs. Ogg, a married lady of your mature years, too.
Safe until dawn.
Just for a moment, Nanny's eyes narrowed. It's her way, she said. A very petty and nasty way to my mind. Oh, yes, said Nanny simply. Ways of nar. But look, you... Will you be bringing anything to the produce stall, geezer? Said Gamma Beavis quickly. Oh, what couple of bottles I expect, said Nanny, deflating. Oh, homemade wine, said Lettuce. How nice. Sort of like wine, yes. Well, here is the path, said Nanny. I'll just nip back and say good night. It's belittling, you know, the way you run around after her, said Lettuce. Yes. Well, you get used to people. Good night to you.
Safe until dawn.
When she got back to the cottage, Granny Weatherwax was standing in the middle of the kitchen floor with a face like an unmade bed and her arms folded. One foot tapped on the floor. She married a wizard, said Granny as soon as her friend had entered. You can't tell me that's right. Well, wizards can marry, you know. They just have to hand in the staff and pointy hat. There's no actual law says they can, so long as they gives up wizarding. They're supposed to be married to the job. I should reckon it's a job being married to her, said Granny, her face screwed up in a sour smile. Been pickling much this year, said Nanny, employing a fresh association of ideas around the word vinegar, which had just popped into her head. My onions all got the screw fly. That's a pity. You like onions. Even screw flies have got to eat, said Granny. She glared at the door. Nice, she said. She's got a knitted cover on the lid in her privy, said Nanny. Pink? Yes. Nice. She's not bad, said Nanny. She does good work over in Fiddler's Elbow. People speak highly of her. Granny sniffed. Do they speak highly of me? She said. No, they speaks quietly of you, Esme. Good. Did you see her hat pins? I thought they were rather nice, Esme. That's witchcraft today. All jewellery and no drawers. Nanny, who considered both to be optional, tried to build an embankment against the rising tide of ire. You could think of it as an honour, really, them not wanting you to take part. That's nice. Nanny sighed. Sometimes nice is worth trying, Esme, she said. I never does anyone a bad turn if I can't do 'em a good one, Geether, you know that. I don't have to do no frills or fancy labels. Nanny sighed. Of course, it was true. Granny was an old-fashioned witch. She didn't do good for people, she did right by them. But Nanny knew that people don't always appreciate right. Like old Pollitz the other day when he fell off his horse. What he wanted was a painkiller. What he needed was the few seconds of agony as Granny popped the joint back into place. The trouble was, people remembered the pain. You got on a lot better with people when you remembered to put frills round it and took an interest and said things like, how are you? Esme didn't bother with that kind of stuff because she knew already. Nanny Ogg knew too, but also knew that letting on you knew gave people the serious willies. She put her head on one side. Granny's foot was still tapping.
Sleeping so deeply.
You planning anything, Esme? I know you. You've got that look. What look, pray? That look you had when that bandit was found naked up a tree and crying all the time and going on about the horrible thing that was after him. Funny thing, we never found the poor prince. That look. He deserved more than that for what he'd done. Yeah, well, you had that look just before old Hoggett was found beaten black and blue in his own pigsty and wouldn't talk about it. You mean old Hoggett the wife-beater, or old Hoggett who won't never lift his hand to a woman no more? Said Granny. The thing her lips had pursed into may have been called a smile. And it's the look you had that time all the snow slid down on old Milson's house just after he called you an interfering old baggage, said Nanny. Granny hesitated. Nanny was pretty sure that had been natural causes, and also that Granny knew she suspected this, and that pride was fighting a battle with honesty. That's as maybe, said Granny non-committally. Like someone who might go along to the trials and do something, said Nanny. Her friend's glare should have made the air sizzle. Oh, so that's what you think of me. That's what we've come to, have we? Let us thinks we should move with the times. Well, I moves with the times. We ought to move with the times. No one said we ought to give 'em a push. I expect you'll be wanting to be going, geezer. I want to be alone with my thoughts. Nanny's own thoughts, as she scurried home in relief, were that Granny Weatherwax was not an advertisement for witchcraft. Oh, she was one of the best at it, no doubt about that. At a certain kind, certainly. But a girl starting out in life might well say to herself, is this it? You worked hard and denied yourself things, and what you got at the end of it was hard work and self-denial. Granny wasn't exactly friendless, but what she commanded mostly was respect. People learned to respect storm clouds too. They refreshed the ground. You needed them, but they weren't nice. Nanny Odd went to bed in 3 flannelette night dresses because sharp frosts were already pricking the autumn air. She was also in a troubled frame of mind. Some sort of war had been declared, she knew. Granny could do some terrible things when roused, and the fact that they'd been done to those who richly deserved them didn't make them any the less terrible. She'd be planning something pretty dreadful, Nanny Odd was certain. She herself didn't like winning things. Winning was a habit that was hard to break and brought you a dangerous status that was hard to defend. You'd walk uneasily through life, always on the lookout for the next girl with a better broomstick and a quicker hand on the frog. She turned over under the mountain of eiderdowns. In Granny Weatherwax's world view, there was no place for second place. You won, or you were a loser. There was nothing wrong with being a loser, except the fact that, of course, you weren't the winner. Nanny had always pursued the policy of being a good loser. People liked you when you almost won and bought you drinks. She only just lost was a much better compliment than she only just won. Runners-up had more fun, she reckoned, but it wasn't a word Granny had much time for. In her own darkened cottage, Granny Weatherwax sat and watched the fire die. It was a grey-walled room, the colour that old plaster gets, not so much from dirt as from age. There was not a thing in it that wasn't useful, utilitarian, earning its keep. Every flat surface in Nanny Ogg's cottage had been pressed into service as a holder for ornaments and potted plants. People gave Nanny Ogg things. Cheap fairground tat, Granny always called it, at least in public. What she thought of it in the privacy of her own head, she never said. She rocked gently as the last ember winked out. It's hard to contemplate, in the grey hours of the night, that probably the only reason people would come to your funeral would be to make sure you're dead.
And so the story pauses here for now, drifting into the quiet of the night. Granny sits alone in the darkness, watching the last ember fade, while Nanny rests beneath her mountain of blankets, wondering what storm might be brewing. The trials are coming. Something is stirring. But for now, all is still. All is quiet. And there's nothing that needs your attention. Whether you're drifting in dreams or resting in this peaceful quiet, you're exactly where you need to be. Your body knows how to sleep. Your mind knows how to rest. And through the night, that sleep will hold you deep and unbroken, safe and sound. Nothing will disturb you. Nothing needs to wake you. Your sleep is protected, solid, restorative. If thoughts still drift through your mind, that's perfectly natural. Just let them pass like clouds across a dark sky. You don't need to follow them or hold on to them. They can simply drift away. Your breath continues, slow and steady. In and out. Each exhale releases a little more. Each breath draws you a little deeper into rest. There's no need to try to sleep. No need to make anything happen. Sleep finds you on its own, in its own time. And even this quiet wakefulness is rest. Your body is still recovering. Your mind is still softening. Every moment lying here is healing, whether you're aware of it or not. When morning comes naturally, in its own time, you'll wake feeling rested and restored. But that's far away now. For now, there's only this deep, peaceful sleep. You're breathing steady and slow. Your body completely at ease, sinking deeper with every moment. The story will conclude in part 2, waiting patiently whenever you're ready to return. There's no hurry, no need to remember. It will be there. For now, just rest. Sleep through the night, deep and peaceful. Nothing to do, nowhere to be. Just this gentle, solid sleep, carrying you safely through the darkness. Good night.